Hello, hi, a very happy good evening. So this is Krishna and we're going to talk about the story of life on earth, and that's biology. So thank you so much for joining my new beginning series today. So hi Bhavya, yes, a very happy good evening. So thank you so much for joining my session today. So please do like, share and subscribe. So I hope you are enjoying the critical thinking sessions, because these are questions which we do not normally speak about, but yes, these are questions which can pop up sometimes, or sometimes even you can have normal doubts in these questions. I hope these sessions are helping you. So today we are discussing the critical thinking questions of the chapter Locomotion and Movement. So I hope the first 4 chapters you went through the questions and your doubts are pretty solved. So Bhavya, I guess you asked me a question yesterday. So how about umbilical artery and umbilical vein? I told you it carries oxygenated blood. So you were asking me about umbilical artery. So did you go about and find out the answer? Yes. Okay, so I have an announcement to make. So finally the day is here. So tomorrow we're going to play the Menti. So we are going to play the Menti for 5 chapters. So please join me tomorrow at 5:15 p.m. and please do share the link of the Menti, because more the participants, more the fun, right? So I know slowly my students are coming, because yeah, it's a new channel. So there's no base. So we have to make the base, and yes, slowly students are coming. But please share the link with your friends. Ask your friends to come and play, so that in the leaderboard, if you see your name on top among 10 students, it feels good, right? And that is when the fun of the game is also. So I request you, so please bring your friends for tomorrow's Menti. So tomorrow 5:15 we have a Menti quiz from digestion, absorption, breathing, body fluids, excretion and locomotion and movement. Okay, hi Sudeshna. So that's really a surprise. So after a very long time you are here. Hello and a very happy good evening. So I hope you're doing good. So thank you for remembering me and joining my session today. So that was really a pleasure to see you here. So thank you once again. Yeah, so Sudeshna, so how is your life going on? All good? Yes? Okay, fine. So let's move on to today's session. So since we are going to discuss only one chapter, so I've got 15 questions in this chapter. So let's see how it goes about, right? Okay, so once again I have the announcement for the Menti. So I wish you guys join this Menti. So tomorrow morning, if you scroll through the YouTube, you will get the code for the Menti. So stay tuned for the Menti code, so that you can join on time. For all those who are new, who don't know how to play the Menti quiz, so log on to www.menti.com. So I will give you a code, so you have to type in the code and a name for yourself, and you will join my Menti quiz. Okay, so you can see these questions on the screen and you can give the answers, and it'll come here on the leaderboard. Okay, the umbilical artery carries deoxygenated blood through the placenta for replenishment. Yes, absolutely right. So umbilical artery carries deoxygenated blood and umbilical vein carries oxygenated blood. Okay, waiting for the results now. Okay, that's really great. Yes, I'm doing really good. So we have again begun this preparation for NEET exam. So we are in a new series, that is new beginning. So that's what is going on. Yes, so have a great time ahead. So take care, and thank you once again for joining our session today. Okay, Sudeshna? Yes. So I would request you, Sudeshna, to please put a word about the Menti tomorrow. Okay, so Roshna and Roshni, hello, very happy good evening. So thank you for joining my session. I hope you're doing good. So in between, where did you go missing? Yes, Roshna and Roshni. So you were very busy with your other classes. Okay, so it's good that you came today and you came at the right time. So tomorrow we are having a Menti at 5:15. So I request you to join for the 5:15 Menti, and these are the chapters we are going to play in the Menti. So it is 5 chapters, 30 questions, so 6 questions from each chapter. Alright, Roshna? Yes? Fine. So here we move forward. So locomotion and movement is a chapter that we recently saw. So what are the things, or what are the topics that we saw in locomotion and movement? So first thing is we spoke about what is locomotion, what is movement. So what is the difference between both, what type of structures we need for locomotion and what type of structures we need for movement. So what are the different types of movement in the human body? So we have the amoeboid movement, we have the ciliary movement, so flagellar movement, muscular movement, right? So these are the different types of movement in the human body. So then we went on to talk about the types of muscles. So types of muscles include smooth muscles, skeletal muscles and cardiac muscle. So we know smooth muscle is non-striated and involuntary. So skeletal muscle is striated and voluntary. So cardiac muscle is again striated and involuntary. Okay. Okay, that's completely fine. So it's a normal problem. Okay, so Bhavya says it's her birthday today. Wow. So wishing you a very, very happy birthday, Bhavya. I guess you told me, but yes, it slipped out of my mind. I'm really sorry. So wishing you a very, very happy birthday, Bhavya, on behalf of Career Point. So may you become doctor very soon and may you come out with flying colors. So I wish you a lot of happiness, a lot of good health and a lot of wisdom. So once again, a very, very happy birthday. Menti is the most fun, exciting thing along with a huge box of knowledge. Here I learn speed and accuracy, and competing is really fun with good contenders. Wow, so thank you so much for your comments, Sudeshna. So I guess that would help people to join the Menti tomorrow. So thank you so much. Thank you. Okay, fine. So we read about the types of muscles, then we read about the structure of the skeletal muscle. So skeletal muscle is made up of muscle bundles. So muscle bundles are made up of muscle fiber. Muscle fiber has your sarcolemma, sarcoplasm, sarcoplasmic reticulum, etc. Right? So we spoke about the structure. Then we went on to talk about the mechanism of contraction. So for that we spoke about the structure of the contractile protein, actin and myosin. Right, so we spoke about the sliding filament hypothesis. So what is H zone, M line, etc. So then we went on to talk about bones, which form the framework of the skeletal system. So we spoke about axial and appendicular skeleton. So totally we have 206 bones. So axial is, you can say, 80 and appendicular is 126. So we know what comes under axial. So you have the skull, the vertebral column, the ribs and the sternum. So this is limbs of the hands and the legs, and apart from that the girdles. Then we also spoke about the joints, right? So with that we ended the lecture of locomotion and movement. So now let's see. So I will take you through 15 questions today. So see if you can answer them. So question 1 for the evening. The time period between receiving the stimulus and the beginning of contraction is called as. So who brings the stimulus? That is the motor neuron, right? And which is going to contract? The muscle. So the time lapse. So the neuron releases the neurotransmitters in the neuromuscular junction, and the signals initiate the action potential in the muscle. So what is that time period known as? Between receiving the stimulus and the beginning of contraction is known as contraction time, relaxation time, latent period and refractory period. Yes, any guess? Yes, any guess? What could be the answer here? Yes, any guess? So contraction time, relaxation time, latent period, refractive period. So what could be the answer here? Any wild guess again? Okay, so this time period between receiving the stimulus and the beginning of contraction is known as latent period, not refractive period, Bhavya. So the right answer is the latent period. Okay, so here the right answer is option 3. So we move to question number 2. Muscles are able to convert chemical energy into light energy, chemical energy into mechanical energy, chemical energy into electrical energy, mechanical energy into chemical energy. So what exactly does the muscles do? Do they convert mechanical energy to chemical energy or vice versa? So it's definitely not light energy. So between these three, what do you think will be the answer? So chemical energy into mechanical energy, yes, that's absolutely right. So it converts the chemicals, that is the acetylcholine calcium, into the mechanical energy so that it produces a force. That is the joints axis fulcrum, right? Absolutely right. So the right answer is option 2 here. So we go to question number 3. In case of hypertrophy, so hypertrophy is a very high contraction, you can say, okay? Hypo is less, hyper is high, okay? So in case of hypertrophy, there is increase in muscle mass due to the increase in number of myofibrils in the muscle fiber, number of muscle fiber, increase in the amount of sarcoplasm, both 1 and 3. So in hypertrophy, so when there is increased or excessive contraction, there is increase in the muscle mass due to the increase in what? Yeah, these are critical thinking questions, right? So you have to brainstorm yourself. Yes, what will be the answer here? Yes, quick. Yes, Bhavya, what will be the answer? Okay, so maybe it can be a bit tricky. So in hypertrophy, there is increase in muscle mass due to the increase in the number of myofibrils in the muscle fiber and in the amount of sarcoplasm. So both 1 and 3. So when you have more myofibrils, it means you have more sarcomere, right? And when you have more amount of sarcoplasm, so that is the cytoplasm of the muscle, so that the action potential can be easily spread. So it is both 1 and 3. So Shruti, hello. So thank you for joining my session today. So please do like, share and subscribe. So moving on to the next question. So question 4. In a muscle fiber, calcium is stored in the sarcoplasm, sarcosome, sarcoplasmic reticulum or troponin protein. So where is the calcium stored in a muscle fiber? So sarcoplasm is the cytoplasm of the muscle. So sarcosome, we only know sarcomere, so we do not know what is sarcosome. So sarcoplasmic reticulum is the endoplasmic reticulum, and then we have the troponin protein. So what do you think is the right answer here? Yes, quick. So what do you think is the right answer? So Shruti says option 3. Yes, that's right. Okay, so it should be option 3, that is sarcoplasmic reticulum. Yes, absolutely right. Good. So we go to question number 5. In Obturator foramen, so you will pronounce it like this, Obturator foramen, the characteristic feature of pelvic girdle lying below the acetabulum is bound by. Okay, so this Obturator foramen is characteristic of the pelvic girdle. So pelvic girdle is near your hind limbs, right? So it is lying below the acetabulum, is bound by ilium, ischium, pubis, ischium and pubis, ilium, pubis and pubis only. So this pelvic girdle has 2 coaxial bones, right? And each bone is formed by the fusion of 3 bones. So that is ilium, ischium and pubis. So where is this obturator foramen? So that is between the ischium and the pubis. So it is a small opening where the nerves, the blood vessels can pass through in the pelvic girdle. So it is between the ischium and the pubis. Okay, so please remember this. So this might be new because you wouldn't have heard about it. Okay. So Jessica, Dahlia, hello and thank you for joining my session. So please do like, share and subscribe. So this is question 5. So here we go to question 6. Which part of a sarcomere is formed only by the myosin myofilament in a relaxed state? Isotropic band, anisotropic band, O band or the H zone? Why not 1? So Shruti says why not 1 and the previous one, ilium, ischium, pubis. Okay, so that is where the acetabulum is formed. So the fusion of 3 bones forms your acetabulum cavity. But this obturator foramen is towards one type of fusion or one end of the fusion between the 2 bones. Okay, it is an opening, right? So the fusion of 3 bones is a cavity, but your obturator foramen is an opening. How can the opening be between 3 bones? It can be between 2 bones only, right? So that is why it is ischium and pubis. Okay, yeah. So question 6. So in which part of the sarcomere is formed only by the myosin myofilament in a relaxed state? So myosin is responsible for forming the dark band, right? Yes, so in a relaxed state, which it can form. So there's nothing called as O band. So isotropic band is the I band, anisotropic band is the A band, right? So what is the H zone? So in a relaxed state, the muscle is not contracting, right? So in a relaxed state, the muscle is not contracting and the region that is formed only by a myosin is your H zone. So here the right answer will be your H zone. Okay, so that's fine, Shruti, that's completely fine. So here the right answer would be the H zone. Fine. So moving on to question 7, mark the correct statement. So I want to find the correct statement with respect to the isometric contraction. So isometric, iso is same. So I want to find the correct statement with respect to the similar or uniform contraction. Fine. So there is no change in the length of the muscle due to the stretching of elastic fibers. The length of the muscle remains the same, but the force of contraction keeps on increasing. So pushing the immovable object is an example of isometric contraction. All are correct. So can you guess which is right? So when I say this is isometric contraction, which means everything is working in an equal force. Okay. So which can be right with respect to the isometric contraction? Quick. Yes, any guess? Yes. Okay, so might be tricky, but all are right. So there is no change in the length of the muscle due to the stretching of elastic fibers. So when it is actually this is isometric contraction, equal contraction. So my muscles are neither going to increase in length, it can decrease in length, right? Yes. And the length of the muscle remains the same, but the force keeps on increasing. Suppose if I want to take something from the top, my length will never increase, right? But the force will increase. So all of these are right with respect to isometric contraction. So moving on to question 8. Gap junction between fibers will be present in skeletal muscle, smooth muscle, cardiac muscle, both 2 and 3. If you remember gap junction and talking about the muscle, we'll read it in structural organization in animals when we talk about the tissue system. So we have the muscles also there. So we would talk about gap junction there in the muscular tissue. But any idea where is gap junction present? So what is gap junction? You have tight junction, gap junction and adhering junction. So gap junction helps the communication between 2 types of tissues. So that is a gap junction. So what do you think the right answer will be? So gap junction is present in your smooth muscle as well as cardiac muscle. So basically your gap junction is present in involuntary muscles. Fine, so that is the clue. So gap junction is present in the involuntary muscles. So moving on to question 9. In which of the following acts as a heat shock absorber to cushion the joint between tibia and femur, cartilage, ligament, tendon and disc? So tibia and femur, so this is your thigh bone and this is the bone below the thigh bone. So this is the bones of your hind limbs, right? So what acts as a cushion so that it prevents a shock absorption? Yes, I know it is your kneecap, but what exactly is present in the kneecap? Is it a cartilage? Is it a ligament? Is it a tendon or is it a disc? So before that you will tell me what is a ligament and what is a tendon. So if I have 2 bones, so 2 bones are connected with the help of a muscle. So muscle and bone are connected with the help of a tendon. A muscle and muscle is connected with the help of a ligament. Fine. So the right answer here is cartilage. So cartilage is present between tibia and femur. So that is where the knee cap is present, right? So this is just to clear your second and the third option. So I am just giving you a clarity of what is second and third. No, the right answer is cartilage. So that is why you are able to fold 2 bones, right? So you have a right amount of cartilage that acts as a shock absorber. Your ligament and your tendon cannot be shock absorber, right? Okay, so question 10 for the evening. Human body resting on toes is an example of second class lever. So mark the correct choice representing fulcrum, effort and resistance in this. Yes. So what do you understand from the question? So second class lever. Yes. So with the help of your understanding, can you give me an answer? So we know what is a fulcrum. So fulcrum is the one that is essential for a particular process. So we are talking about, suppose if I stand with one leg for the entire day. So I am putting a lot of force, a lot of resistance to my one leg, so that it has a lot of energy and a stamina, right? Suppose if I stand on my toes for a whole, so the human body is resting on toes is an example of second class lever. So leave off the lever, it does not affect us. So the human body is standing on toes, okay? So now what acts as the main or the essential force that the man or the woman is able to manage to stand on the toes? So what will be your answer? The fulcrum, resistance, effort, resistance, fulcrum, effort. So this is a very rare question, you don't have to worry. So it is first the fulcrum, the force, then the resistance to stay on the toes. So when you stand on the toes, so you are very likely to fall back on your heel, right? So that is resistance, and then effort to stay fixed on your toes, okay? Yes? So fulcrum, resistance and effort. Fine? So we move forward with question 11. So which of the following disease is diagnosed by the presence of IgM and involve inflammation of the synovial membrane? So IgM is immunoglobulin M. Osteoarthritis, rheumatoid arthritis, gouty arthritis and bursitis. So we haven't done disorders, but still it's a question of concern. So you should remember the right answer is rheumatoid arthritis. So rheumatoid arthritis is an autoimmune disease, right? So when the immune cells affect your own body cells, that is autoimmune disorder. So it is diagnosed by the presence of IgM because your body's own antibody kills the body cells. So that is rheumatoid arthritis. So moving forward to question 12. So this you might be knowing. So let's try. According to the sliding filament model of the muscle contraction, the structure that slides to shorten a sarcomere are actin, collagen, myosin, creatine, phosphate. According to the sliding filament hypothesis of muscle contraction, the structure that slides to shorten a sarcomere is actin, collagen, myosin. So which band tries to shorten the sarcomere? Yes, quick. Yes, any guess? What could be the answer? So it is actin. So I bands move over the A band, right? So I band is what slides. So here the answer is straightforward, that is actin, okay? So here we go to question 13. So which of the following is the incorrect match? Yeah, so this is a pretty common question that you can expect here. So pivot joint between atlas and axis. So I told you to remember PVC. So pivot is between the vertebral columns. So saddle joint is between the carpal and metacarpal of the thumb. So hinge joint is between the first vertebrae, atlas and occipital condyles, but actually hinge joint is for the knee, right? So gliding joint is between the carpals. So between the carpals is the wrist, so this is gliding joint. So the incorrect one will be option 3. So this is not between atlas and occipital condyle, this is between the knee joint, that is your pivot joint. So this is incorrect. So this is a direct question, so this does not need much brainstorming. So we go to question 14, the last before question for the evening. Which of the following statement is not correct in respect to the muscle contraction in smooth muscles? Latent period is long and contraction process is slow. So by now you know what is latent period. Relaxation is also slow. Smooth muscles have comparatively short muscle twitch period, about 1 to 3 seconds. So twitch is a retrace, okay? So the calcium ions are also obtained from the extracellular fluid. Calmodulin functions like calcium receptor in binding with it. So calmodulin is a receptor which binds the excess calcium, okay? So calmodulin is present on the troponin so that the calcium can bind. So with respect to the smooth muscles, they have comparatively short muscle twitch period, about 1 to 3 seconds. So what is this twitch? Suppose a person is running for 5 minutes, so he will not stop exactly, right? So he will cross the finish line and then he will halt. That is the twitch, right? But in case of smooth muscle, it is pretty quick. Right, so option 2 is right with respect to the smooth muscle. So the last question for the evening, question 15. During muscle contraction, according to the sliding filament mechanism, the part of the sarcomere which increase in size and length is A band, I band, O band or H zone. So which increases in length when the sliding happens? That is the question, right? The part of the sarcomere which increases in size or length. So we know I band decreases in size, A band remains unchanged. So we have H zone. So what about the H zone? Okay, so H zone will also shorten because it is sliding, right? Now here the answer says O band. So now what is O band? So that is up to you. Okay, so you will find out and tell me what is the O band in a sarcomere, because we haven't discussed that. So now you will find out and tell me what is an O band. So tomorrow before starting the mentee, I will explain what is an O band, but before that I want you guys to find out what is an O band. So that will be the homework for this evening, okay? Hi Ajay, so you are late, that's okay, that's completely fine. So thank you anyways for joining. So please watch the recorded version. So we have discussed a lot of critical thinking questions, and the homework for this evening will be to find out what is O band, okay? For question practice in biology, okay, so you have a lot of practice books, you have a lot of previous year books in from CP publication itself. So if you can download eCareerPoint app, so you have a lot of books, because eCareerPoint app or eCareerPoint also has a publication on its own, and we have a lot of question bank live, so you can try that. So now, and thank you for joining my session today. So please find out what is an O band, because the right answer here is O band, because we never know what is an O band, and we never thought something would increase during the sliding filament hypothesis, right? So that is your pondering homework. So you will find out how it can be. You will find out and tell me tomorrow, okay? Yes? Fine. So with this we come to the end of today's lecture. So please join me for tomorrow's mentee. So Ajay, so tomorrow we have a mentee. So mentee is at 5:15 p.m. So please join me exactly at 5:15 p.m. So we are going to play for 30 questions. So each question has a time limit of 25 seconds only. So please join there. Okay? Yes? So please join me on time at 5:15 p.m. so that we play the mentee and we enjoy. Right? Okay, so if you genuinely liked my way of teaching, so please do like, share and subscribe. So this is me wishing you more and most, and I'll meet you tomorrow at 5:15. So until then, stay tuned and take care. Bye.